everyone, this is Persephone, and today this video is extremely important if you are a new goddess or new mistress, or you want to find a sugar daddy, or you want to not be taken for a ride by scammers in general, okay? So I'm going to explain to you the difference between rich versus peasant with money, because it's not the same. It's very easy to get tricked, especially if you grew up poor and you don't know how truly rich people are. And it's very easy to be impressed by pickup artists and then end up exploited, okay? So first of all, what do we mean by saying rich? That's my definition. You can hear multiple different definitions, but for me, when we talk about a man who is rich and has wealth, I'm talking about 6 digits per year, at least, or high-end 5 digits as salary or income from some source. And I'm talking about someone, if you come from a country that doesn't have men this wealthy, he won't be complaining about products and services. For example, when you say, I want to go out to eat, you can go as often as you want, you can go shopping every time you want, and this is not a problem. He's not going to be stingy and say, where did you spend that, why this, why that, okay? So that's a good starting point when we are talking about sugar daddies, because just because a guy can take you shopping and spend $300 on you, that's not a sugar daddy, okay? That's not what you should be aiming for, at least long term. If you're just starting, you can experiment with them. I'm not against it. And I always say we can't manifest huge things right away. So yeah, start with that, but build. How you're going to know when someone is rich versus when someone is a peasant with money? And I'm going to use my own father in this case because he grew up in a wealthy family, and there were things I observed in him and some of his friends that they were rich. Of course, after his family kicked him out because he chose to marry my mother and I was born, there was a different story. That is, it would make an excellent comedy. But I'm going to talk about him after things were restored, okay? And by restored, I mean his abusive parents died and he inherited a large sum of money, and by the time our own businesses had taken off, so he re-established his wealthy, kept man lifestyle. When a man is rich, he's going to be wearing designer brands usually, or expensive stuff, but you are not going to be able to tell unless you know about those things, or unless, in general, you live with a person, you see them shopping, and you can see how much he spends and how those things cost. Like, my father loves brands. You could see him wearing Armani, you could see him wearing Hugo Boss and stuff in everyday life, but he's never going to wear something that has a logo that screams that, oh my god, this is expensive. I mean, I remember he had a pair of shoes that they were $500 for the gym, and I never even knew that brand. I was like, what is that? Is it from a flea market? And he told me, you're the peasant who doesn't know where is that from. Men who are peasants with money, or women who are peasants with money, they're going to do the opposite. Their clothing are going to be very flashy, they're going to be having a lot of brands, and they're going to be bragging about it. They're going to be saying, do you know how much my shirt costs? Do you know how much those shoes cost? Do you know where I got them from? And for me, that shows inferiority complex, and that shows that you don't have money. Rich people don't do that. I've never met a really rich person, like millionaire or almost millionaire, who does that. And I've never seen that anywhere either. So that's one thing you should be looking out for. Another thing is people freaking out when something happens to their clothes. People saying, oh my god, you stepped on my shoes. Do you know how much those shoes are worth more than you and your entire family? This is peasant with money talking. Same thing with someone fighting with you and insulting you for your clothes. I'm never going to forget the fight between Uriz and Tiger and Lars and Halleck. When Uriz and Tiger would say to Lars and Halleck, you wear $20 shorts or something from the convenience store. It doesn't matter what he's wearing. If you need to insult him for something like that, you're a peasant. Second sign to look out for. When someone is rich in general, rich people do not usually bargain. I call those bargain sales people and bargain sales women. When you meet someone and you're interested in finding a sugar daddy, he's not going to make a big deal and say, do you want $400 per month? Do you want $1,000 per month? And he's going to make you look like a hooker, okay? Money is not a problem for them. They are not paranoid about stuff like, oh my god, I'm taking this woman out for dinner. Am I going to fuck her or not? Like the MGTOW guys see doing. This is not a rich person. A rich person usually has an abundant mentality because they see that as actually bad for their own reputation, or they're usually black-pilled and they understand that good life costs, okay? There is not a way to live your life and actually enjoy it without spending money. Of course, there is a difference between throwing money away, being thrifty, and being stingy. You can be rich and be thrifty, but you can't be rich, like born into wealth or having your own wealth, and actually be stingy. And to tell you an example on something like that, being thrifty is you find a good deal, you find, for example, something in the supermarket that is 40% off, and you buy in bulk if it doesn't expire. For example, you're eating a specific type of food, like I'm not even going to use human food. Let's say cat food, because I have cats. When I find the cat food that they like, and it's on discount, I can buy in bulk. I can spend $500, $600 and stock up to have for a long time. A stingy person, like my mother-in-law, she's going to buy the cheapest makeup she can find. That's a true story, because she says she wants to look good for the customers at her failed dry cleaning / bakery businesses. And she ends up looking like this Onibaba from the Japanese myths that if you saw her, you died because it was too ugly. She ends up looking like a scarecrow or a ghost or a clown from a horror movie. And she thinks that she saved money because the makeup was cheap. And if you then say to her, if you're going to be going out like this and embarrassing everyone, why not just not wear makeup? She says, oh, but I have to look young. And you just don't understand how money are made. Well, the fact that I make more money in a day than she made her life, it doesn't matter. But my point is, you have to look at how the person is. I mean, if they're making a huge deal, if they are throwing a tantrum, if they don't know how to spend money, the person isn't truly wealthy. Some loser trying to impress you, to get you to sleep with them or to get you to date them, and then your life is going to be down the drain pretty fast. Okay. A third thing, indirect but still important to look out for, is education. Usually people who are born wealthy or who are raised and made money fast place an importance in education. I say that for all the people who say your English are bad, we don't understand you, blah blah blah, this or that. How many people do you know that they are poor and they speak a second language at the level that I speak English? Usually wealthy people speak multiple languages, they know about art, they know about politics, philosophy, history, science, they have degrees. If you are a girl like a sugar baby and you're classy, the sugar daddy is going to take you to events with him, which is very useful if you want to promote your career or if you are in college and so on. And he's going to challenge you to grow. You're not going to be treated as a hooker that, okay, he's calling you, he's giving you an envelope with cash, you have sex and that's it. That person is not wealthy. And if he's wealthy, you're not a sugar baby, you're an escort, and you need to know the difference between the two. I'm not saying to women, don't escort. Do what you have to do what you want to do, okay? As long as you're an adult and no one is forcing you, I'm not the one to teach morals on this channel. The reason I'm saying that is because I see so many articles on incel forums and other communities where men trying to appear wealthy to attract women with the intention of scamming them, okay? So you have to be very aware of how things are in real life, because it's very easy for someone, especially in our time with social media, to fake being wealthy when they're not. And by the time you know what's going on, it's going to be too late. Another thing to look out for is, in general, manners, relations between family members, relations with friends, lifestyle. Rich people don't hang out randomly. Don't waste their time watching TV. Don't just sit with a six-pack of beer and going to the same place all the time and treating themselves with disrespect. They don't do those things. So if someone somehow inherited a lot of money, or someone somehow makes a lot of money, it could be something illegal like selling drugs, making drugs, you don't want to be associated with that type of crowd. Because I'm telling you, if you want to really transform your life, you can't associate with ratchet, you can be seen as cheap, especially for the girls that you are messaging me that you come from a small place. Even worse, either have a plan to move in case things turn sour and you get a reputation, or don't try at all, try coming. I'm telling you, even as a moderate cam girl, if you come, let's say 8 hours a day, you're going to make so much more money compared to working in retail or working at McDonald's or something like that. So it's up to what you want. But if you want to permanently find someone to take care of you, either marry you or have multiple sugar daddies or have a wealthy boyfriend, you need to become classy, which is something that I have to make follow-up videos on. But being classy is something that it's way more than actually wearing cute clothes and being cute. It's not the same as being a trophy wife. Okay, I'm not saying that being a trophy wife is bad, but unfortunately there's a lot of competition, a lot of women who actually understand that the whole model of independent, smart woman is very risky. For me, I believe that it's better to make your own money and have men pay for you if you want them to, but always have a backup. Don't just be someone's wife. That makes you look unattractive and it's very, very risky. So the next time you meet a guy online, or you meet a guy on seeking arrangements, or you get introduced to someone and they try to impress you, pay attention to the details. Sometimes it's not obvious right away, but don't get excited too fast, don't get to commit too fast, don't get to promise exclusivity or any kind of other privileges too fast. Because there is also the rare case that a man may be rich and stingy. Unfortunately, those men happen too from time to time, and you don't want them. Like I said, there are ways to live your life, and there are ways to live and enjoy it, and there are ways to live and be unhappy and stingy. And I'm going to say it again, out of all of the boyfriends that I had, the Asians were the stingiest. And the people who say that Asians know their way with money and they impress their way with money, for me, they don't really want to spend their money. They really want someone, when it comes to marriage and relationships, they want someone who is going to be the homely, nice girl, who is taking care of the finances, like an accountant, and doesn't spend on herself and is self-sacrificing. Not my cup of tea. So if you're going for Asians, choose someone that he's generous and he's not stingy. And never, ever, ever get involved with a guy who doesn't have his own wallet completely. Never get involved with a guy whose mother is on his bank account. Never get involved with a guy who is working on the family business and doesn't have an actual position, like he's not fully legally employed, but he's just kind of helping at the business, because those are all human trafficking red flags, potential human trafficking. Ideally, you have to find a guy who is self-made, self-paid, independent, has his own business, and he doesn't have anyone up in his ass commanding him, like his mommy, his daddy, his best friend, and so on. Try to do that, and always remember that how you're going to end up in your life has a lot to do with being strategic, not with what Hollywood and other bullshits are showing you. Thank you for watching.